and he's kicking off our speaker series of Hispanic Heritage Month, which starts next week. So I've invited him to speak to our club, and I will formally introduce him. Director Perdomo is originally from the Dominican Republic. He has been living in the US in Washington, DC for over 7 years. Eduardo has over 13 years of experience in project management, working in community development and international development projects financially supported by the United Nations, Organization of American States, Spaniard Agency for International Development, U.S. Agency for International Development, and the government of the District of Columbia. He currently serves as the interim director at the Mayor's Office on Latino Affairs, where he develops strategies to better serve the Latino community and oversees the daily operations of the agency. Since coming to MOLA, Eduardo has helped the agency to increase its grants budget by 70% and managed a grant portfolio of more than 420 community programs in the areas of education, health and wellness, economic development, arts and humanities, public safety, civic engagement, housing, and youth development. One of the things he enjoys in life is being able to interact with the beneficiaries of the programs supported by MOLA and listen to their testimonies on how important their lives are in these interventions. Eduardo's proud of being part of the team that supported Mayor Muralbazo's friendly immigrant policies by assisting in implementation of the Immigrant Justice Legal Services Grant. Without further ado, Director Perdomo.
Thank you very much for that introduction and for having us here. Very pleased to collaborate with you guys today. Amanda, I would like to acknowledge her, my public information officer, helped us to put together this presentation and where we're going to be talking about today. So the Mayor's Office on Latino Affairs is one of the agencies that are embedded into the Executive Office of the Mayor. The office was created in 1978. A group of Latinos, mostly from Puerto Rico, most of them, but Caribbean in general, Dominicans as well, actively participated in the creation of the office. We are, as I said, we're embedded into the Executive Office of the Mayor, specifically located under the Office of Community Affairs. And we are one of the special constituency agencies that work directly with a specific population. In this case, the Latino population, which represents in the District of Columbia 11.4% of the entire population of the district, according to the last census. Our mission at the end of the day, we work in the process of connecting people to solution, and we do this through several means: public-private partnerships and the creation of culturally, linguistically appropriate programs under the Language Access Act of 2004. The office is comprised we're a small office, but almighty. You know, we are only like 10 staff members here at the Mayor's Office on Latino Affairs. And we are divided into several departments. We have the Outreach Department, which is in charge of connecting people to services provided by DC government agencies or community-based organizations that we support. One of the main programs that we have in the Outreach Department is the food distribution. We partner with the Capital Area Food Bank to work around the issue of food insecurity in the district. Then we have the Language Access Department, which during the COVID response was very important because the vital documents that were required to be translated to Spanish was conducted and in a timely manner. So people were able to understand what was happening around the COVID response, the district COVID response. Situational update from the mayor every week at the beginning of the pandemic. The mayor delivered situational update to inform DC residents about the latest information and the track of the pandemic and new initiatives that we were implementing. And then we have the public relations department. Amanda is part of them. She's the lead of that department, which is in charge of like informing the community about the resources that are available to them, and issue a newsletter that we release every month and reaches over 25,000 people, informing them about mayoral initiatives, informing the community about new programs or the things that we've been doing in the office or planning to do in the near future. And then we have the grants department. I myself, I started here as a grants manager 6 years ago, and had the pleasure to understand the dynamics within the Latino community and helping community-based organizations to implement new programs to provide support to the various needs of the Latino community, all the Latino communities, better said. So I was told that what you guys wanted to hear about was more of in the line of like the disparities in terms of public policies and services that the Latino community was seeking to get access to. And it's not a secret that COVID-19 disproportionately affected the Latino community and other minorities in the district and throughout the United States. And we were not the exception. But what we had here at the Mayor's Office on Latino Affairs was the desire to connect people to solutions. And that's why the office, throughout the pandemic, we never closed the office. We were the first government agency in the entire District of Columbia, in the government of the District of Columbia, that kept its door open, providing face-to-face services to our constituents. So, and that's key in the whole process of understanding the dynamics in the Latino community and the process of connecting them with services provided by DC government or community-based organization. Because one of the main issues that was exacerbated during the COVID-19, at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, was the digital gap. Most of the services were being provided by the community-based organizations or DC government online. So you had to go and submit an application. You have to go and fill a form. You have to have access to internet. You have to understand how to navigate the government and the different agencies within the government and resources that were out there. One of the main things at the beginning of the pandemic that our constituency was looking for was support for submitting the unemployment insurance claims. And this was conducted in the past before the COVID-19. People were able to do it online or go face-to-face to the Department of Employment Services, the wage and hour department. But that was not an option. So people had to submit their applications online, and many of them were not able to do it. So that's when the Mayor's Office on Latino Affairs, we decided to, and this is something that we usually do and try to do to the best of our ability, is to maximize the resources available or to our disposal. And I remember that, as I said before, we're like 10 staff. We were receiving phone calls every day. And the influx of phone calls, incoming phone calls that we were getting from our residents was unmanageable. So what we did was to create with another program that we had, which is the Summer Youth Employment Program. We usually have over 100 youth that we connect with host employer sites in the community for them to have a summer experience, 6 weeks, working in several aspects in different community-based organizations. But what we decided to do was to create a call center and train this 10 youth, part of our summer youth employment program, to answer the phone calls and then to connect our DC residents, Latino DC residents, to the services or resources available to them. We, through that program, were able to connect over or handle or manage over 1,000 cases, connecting them to unemployment insurance claim, to food banks that were around their neighborhoods, to COVID testing sites, to housing support or assistance. And while we were connecting all of our residents to all of these services, we, in the process of doing so, we realized that the digital gap was one of the biggest barriers that we had to tackle down. And as I said, we kept the office open, but we started to move away from the perception that the mayor's office on Latino Affairs was more of a referral agency more than a direct service provider. And this is something because we not necessarily offer direct services, but COVID-19 changed that reality. We had to find ways to connect and help our constituents to stay afloat. And during the process of trying to do, we focus in the main needs that our community had. After the unemployment insurance claims, and we have to remember that many of our constituents were left out of the American Rescue Plan. They were not able to get direct cash payments as many of the other Americans or people that were living here, working here, paying taxes, they were left out of the equation. Just as a side note, I said that we had, like, in my bio, you could say, like, I'm proud of being part of the administration of Mayor Bowser because of friendly immigrant policies. And one of the things that we were able to do here was like to disburse over $45 million in direct cash payments to undocumented immigrants that live here in DC, that work here in DC, and they call DC their hometown. And in the process of maximizing the resources that were available to us, rental assistance program became the second biggest need after the unemployment insurance claim. And the mayor created what was called at that moment the State DC program. It was a program that had federal funded, that had $352 million to provide direct support to pay back rent. The office, maximizing the resources that we had through the Summer Youth Employment Program, this time with 6 youth part of the program, we were able to assist over 750 households and raised over $3 million to pay back rent and to provide the peace of mind that this group of people were looking for in this time and those like times of constraint. Like in mine, there is a case that it even made the news because of the impact of the case. Was one of our constituents, 75 years old, senior. He was worried that he was going to get evicted. And he came here to the office looking for support. And we were able to raise for him $20,000 to pay back rent. And he was like extremely grateful for the service that we were able to provide. The other thing that we did, it's like many of the Latinos, and this is like another friendly policy that DC government has. It's like we have one of the highest insurance rate, health insurance rate in the whole country. You can get access to health insurance no matter your legal status. So, but you have to apply. And we were able from the beginning to assist over 850 individuals to either reapply, because every year they have to apply. In the past, they had to apply twice in October 1st, twice per year. In October 1st, at the beginning of this fiscal year, the mayor introduced in the new budget like an extension in the application process. So now individuals part of the Health Insurance Alliance, they will have to apply once or reapply once a year. And we help all these people to preserve something so valuable as a health insurance, and 850 of them got a service from us here at MOLA. Then one of the things that we did was also like, we remember the PPP and all of these programs that were created by the federal government. And we also here had a few other programs in the district. And I think that we, through these programs, we were able to issue over $250 million for to support small business owners. But one of the biggest problems that Latino business owners had was that they were not able to have the paperwork in place, the minimum requirements to submit the application to get access to the financial assistance that was available to anyone out there that was able to meet the minimum requirements. So that's why we started the process of helping some small business owners to put their paperwork together in order to be able to submit an application and meet the minimum requirements. We submitted like around 20 applications. There are 6 Latino business that we were able to support. And I don't have the exact amount that we were able to raise, but the most important thing about it was like it triggered in the office the idea or the initiative that we are calling now a legacy business. So we're trying to develop something to help to put like the minimum requirements for potential future potential financial support that might be out there from the federal government or DC government, and then provide technical assistance for that, and then help them with the marketing, help them with the facades, help them to put together a sustainable business that could like preserve and promote the Latino cultures in the District of Columbia. Um, we're still ongoing every day. People are coming to the Mayor's Office on Latino Affairs every single day. Over 20 walk-ins per day, looking for health insurance, looking for rental assistance, looking for access to other services that we have. Usually we have over 120 programs throughout the city that we support through our grant program, which is close to $6 million with all of the programs that we manage from here. But I think what I would like you guys to do is to, and this is what I took out of our COVID response, is that the disparities will depend on who you are, where you're from, and the response that we had to come up with was a response based on the initial needs of our communities. But the most important thing is like, try to think outside of the box. Try to think and solve these issues, because these were unconventional levels of issues. So we have to think outside of the box, trying to maximize the resources that were available to us, and understanding the humanity of like this group of individuals that were left out in from many policies from the federal government. And we, with the programs that we had here at DC government under Mayor Muriel Bowser administration, we tried to do the most for them. It's something that we nourish. We were able to help over 6,500 people to get access to vaccines when vaccines were scarce. And that was like the dynamic that in COVID times, at the beginning of the pandemic, we have to adapt, and we have to adapt rapidly and respond in a way that it made sense to the people that we were serving. And I think that with that, oh, well, one more thing, I would like to invite all of you this coming Friday to the kickoff of the Hispanic Heritage Month. We're going to be celebrating the Hispanic Heritage Month in one of the barrios Latinos in the district in Mount Pleasant. So we're gonna be there from 4 p.m. If you're around here in DC, feel free to stop by. We're gonna have food, we're gonna have culture, we're gonna have activities for the whole family. It's going to be a beautiful event, and we're going to kick off that day as well our latest initiative, which is Distrito de Cultura, trying to preserve and promote the Latino cultures in the District of Columbia through the legacy business, through the recognition of the contributions of the Latinos in the district, and many, many other things. So feel free to stop by. We're gonna be there, and we're gonna welcome you if you decide to stop by. Thank you very much.
Director Perdomo, on behalf of our Rotary Club, I am pleased and honored to present you with this certificate signifying that we will be planting a tree in your honor in the nation's capital, signifying our commitment to improve and beautify the environment when we have our tree ceremony. And when we know where your tree is going to be planted, we'll send you the GPS coordinates so you know, and we'll mail you a hard copy of the certificate. Thank you so much for being here and squeezing us in your busy time.
Thank you very much for having me. And I'm looking forward for that GPS location.
Thank you.